Well, now let's head to Canberra to experience some of its top institutions. Enter this normal-sized house and you'll emerge into a world that has shrunk. This is Cockington Green, a land of miniature villages and buildings. It's a family creation. His dad conceived and built it. Now son, Mark Serra, carries on the tradition. Mark, the first part of Cockington Green was English themed.
Yes, that's correct, yeah.
So we've got these beautiful locks here, for instance, with these barges and old English country-style houses and a real touch of the English countryside.
Yeah, it all stemmed from a trip my family had over to England to visit my relatives over there. My mum's English, and it's sort of, we saw Mum and Dad saw an English model village and just got inspired, and that's where it came from.
So that was in the 70s. They came back early 70s, yep. Inspired, decided to start building, and took how many years to actually get the first buildings completed?
Well, the first building was completed in sort of March 1973 or thereabouts, and then the development went on until late 79, where we're actually on this block by that stage, or 75, we arrived here, and then we opened. So it took quite a few years to get going. The original idea was to have a beautiful garden with miniature buildings in it to complement it. And that was have an English country garden with that feel. And in those days, we were still very colonial in the 70s, and it sort of really appealed to that audience.
Now, sport plays quite a large role in what you build here, the soccer field here, of course.
Yeah, we picked soccer in the English area because it's a typical English pastime, the soccer, and everybody loves it. You know, they just come out and see what we're doing, and they love the soccer game.
Which teams are playing here?
It's Cockington Green United and Visitors.
Tell me about, of course, cricket. Cricket. You've got a beautiful cricket field here.
We've got a nice little cricket field, and that's part of English life too, is the common ground. And we just picked an area with a few different styles of building, and we put the common ground, which is a cricket field, in the middle of it, just to give that other little snippet of English culture.
From its origins as a collection of English villages, Cockington Green has expanded. Its new additions feature buildings from around the rest of the world. Mate, we can travel the world right here, it's all here.
That's right, a few places you can travel from as far as Syria to Lithuania to Ukraine, you name it, you're here in a few places.
We're talking about Syria. Here's Syria right here in front of us. And you've negotiated with the government for their ideas on this?
Yeah, we work with the embassy and they've worked with their government to sort of help, between the two of us, pick what they'd like to have represented for their country.
Well, so how many displays have we got in this international section?
Presently there's 28 international buildings, including Australia and England in this area.
Okay, and you've gone and negotiated with the governments of each of those countries?
Yeah, with their local representative, the embassy or the High Commission or the ambassador directly, and yeah, we've negotiated with them and come to a pretty good result, really.
Is it compulsory that you actually have to go to these places and experience them yourself?
I wish, Greg. I wish it was there, but no. Mostly the internet's our tool and our vehicle, and we travel using all sorts of websites to help us get our ideas, and the countries help us a lot.
Talk to me about Croatia, this building from Croatia.
Yeah, that's the church from Croatia. It's a prominent church. It's right in the middle of Zagreb. Everybody that's Croatian knows this church. So the ambassador picked it, knowing that it's got a fantastic tile. It's got 35,000 tiles or so on the roof in a mosaic. It's very striking, and it reflects what they wanted to say about their country. In fact, they use it for their Christmas card for the embassy every year.
Now, Mark, what about this building, this beautiful church from the Ukraine? A few hours gone into that?
Yeah, about 3,000 hours, Greg, in that building. 3,000
hours. And of course, that's got a cost component.
It costs, yeah, well over $100,000 for that building, if you wanted to buy one.
It'd be cheaper to build a home, would it not?
Oh, quicker and cheaper, almost, yes, yeah.
So it's a meticulous job, obviously.
Yeah, it's a lot of research in actually getting the mouldings right, and because we make everything from scratch, there's nothing that you can buy for these buildings, so it's from scratch building, yeah.
Meticulous work goes into constructing new buildings. Cockington Green is forever expanding with this latest project featuring a fort in Oman. So Mark, talk us through this. This is the Jibrin Fort in Oman. The Omani government have actually come to you and said, hey, build this for us and put it in Cockington Green, and that's what you're doing.
Yes, with the assistance of the Omani Tourism Commission and the consulate here in Australia, we've got this project underway.
And the hundreds of hours that go into all this meticulous handiwork here.
Oh, look, we're looking at about 1,000 hours or more.
Okay, and you've got the plans here. You've got those from where?
They've actually come from Oman through the consul, and it's it's fantastic having them, we just couldn't get by without those plans. It's quite an intricate building. The buildings themselves are mostly made of fiberglass, and we use different types of material. We use a glass product called Q-Cell. It's little miniature glass spheres, and we mix that with a resin paste and make a paste, and that's what the render is on the outside of this building. We use aluminium oxides. We even use beach sand in mixing out with resins to give the effect of sandstone.
And Mark, you're not only the boss of the company, you're also one of the craftsmen. You build these things.
Yeah, it's one of our passions. I love to build them. It's great to get out and have a go at these things, and it's all the reward that you get from them.
When will we see this in place?
This is actually due for installing in our display in November, and we're really excited to have that in there. It's great. It's the first building in for a year, and it's going to be pretty spectacular to have.